Not Panic Gaming. Let's go.
Hey everybody, Jim here. Welcome back for another game hunt here in Japan, and today I was on my way to the neighborhood of Yanokuchi to go to a big heart-off they have there, but I realized only a couple of stations away in the neighborhood of Inada Zutsumi, which is a little bit of a mouthful, but there's a book-off here that looked pretty good on Google Maps, so I thought I might take a little pit stop, a little lunch break, and then get a mini game hunt in before I head to the main course, which is today's Heart Off. But I'll save that for another video. Today, though, we're going to dig around in a book off here in Inada Zutsumi and hopefully come away with some retro gaming gold. So stick around, because that's what's coming up next. All right, book off in Inada Zutsumi. Here we go. Starting off, they had some of these clone consoles for $32.28. I guess it's got a bunch of games inside it, and then it also plays Famicom games. They had two different ones, although I would just skip those altogether if you're going to get some kind of clone console thing. And they had a campaign going on. This was the last day of it. I guess they wanted to buy your Famicom and Super Famicom carts, but we got Captain Tsubasa 2, I believe, at 3,200 yen. It's actually a little bit high on that. Usually the Captain Tsubasa games are pretty common, so they're usually a little bit cheaper. This pretty cool family boxing, it says, aka Ring King. I think 300 off of 1,600, so that's pretty cheap on that. And we also have Family Stadium 90. There you go, a bunch of these Namco games. You can always spot them because they have a nice clamshell case. 900 on this one. It's Go, I believe, which I do not even know the rules of Go. So, yeah, passed on that one. Here, though, very cool, Super Xevious. And 400 yen off, so 1,400 yen. Because I'm guessing some damage or the manual missing. But there you go. I myself, a bit of a Xevious fan. If it's at an arcade, I'll sit down and play a game there. This missing inserts. So it's only like 700 yen, which is pretty cheap on that. But Crayon Shin-chan, those are some fun games. Easy little games. Got lots of mini games and stuff in it. Very cute. I think meant more for, little kids. One of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms games, I guess. Again, no interest there. And then Itadaki Street, which is a board game type thing. I played one where it was like Dragon Quest themed. 1,500 on a complete Yoshi's Island, but there's damage to this, that, and the other. I liked this book off. They didn't have a ton of stuff in it, but they had meticulous notes written on all of the stickers. If there's any kind of damage or anything missing, it was all on there. Super Bomberman 4, 2,700, and it's complete. But there's some damage to the box itself, and presumably the other stuff inside. That's to be expected. I mean, these games are pretty old now, over 30 years old, pretty much all of them. 2,300 though on Samurai Spirits. And that ain't bad. So I set that aside. Started building a little stack of games for myself. All of the stuff I was going to take out of here with me. When you got one hand free to look for games and then one hand holding the camera. 700 on this Super Nazo Poyo. Missing the manual, I believe, though. Yeah, usually after I film these, either I make a stack of games or I make a mental notes of all the stuff I want, and I just try to remember it. But once I put the camera away, that's when I go and I grab the basket and I start filling it up. Today, though, I thought, you know what? Let's not trust Jim's failing memory these days. Let's actually set some stuff aside. Battle Dodgeball, pretty cool. like 900 yen. You got all the little chibi characters, Gundam and what have you. And Super Donkey Kong 2, aka DK Country 2. A little faded. And again, I think missing the manual. Kind of hard to read the handwriting there. Usually they have that little yellow sticker on it. And Super Mario RPG 2900. And I guess that's not so bad these days. It's a really clean looking box and everything. No notes about anything being missing or damaged, so that's okay. And here we have, also for 2900, Mickey's Magical Adventure by Capcom. These Capcom Disney crossover games are always cool. And 2900, but it is boxed and complete, and it's in pretty decent shape. And here, would you like to breed horses? Because they got a game for that. There's an app for that. 1800, it's 300 yen off because of, I'm guessing, damage or a missing manual. But Seiken Densetsu 3, awesome game, which I think was just re-released recently on like the Switch. So there's, you know, get that. Rockman X, but the box is quite tattered up. And I think some of the stuff inside as well. Yeah, plenty of notes there. There's damage to the cassette, everything else. And it's still 3,000 something. So I passed on that. I don't want to send anybody ratty boxes. And Super Tetris 3 for 1,500. So that's like, what, 900 yen? Something like that. Not a bad deal. Or maybe that's closer to 1,000. Have to double check on that. You might want to do that, Jim. And a copy of Super Mario Collection for 2,500, aka Super Mario All-Stars. Which is a fantastic game. 2,500, I guess that's not bad. $20 for a complete copy of that. I guess I have to always like try to like keep in my head like, what does this cost in like other countries? Like, I have no idea. Anyway, I got some loose Famicom games here, including Metro Cross. Not sure what that is, but we got some Rockmans here, and they're in good shape. 1,600 for this copy of Rockman 3. A little dirty on the back label, so I wanted to check this other copy. Also very clean. Back label looking real good. And it's also 1,600, so that's going home with me, Mr. Rockman. And we had a couple of copies of Rockman 4, both looking really good shape. 1,600 as well. This one I could see like there's a little bit of writing back there, like a little label damage. So I'm going to check the other one, which also looks nice and clean. But when I flipped it over, there's even more prominent writing on the back. So I left that one behind in favor of the one with the more discreet writing on it. Because a really clean Rockman 4 for 1,600 yen, about $10. Can't argue with that. And we got some more good stuff here. 480 yen on these copies of Dragon Ball. That ain't bad. That's like $3 or so. US, that is. That's the thing. Like, in my head, I've always got kind of like the conversion rate up there in my head. Yen to US dollars. I think right now, 100 yen, it's like 63 cents US. We got some Where's Waldo, aka Wally. I know he's referred to as Wally in other places, but we got Star Fox, 900 yen. Nice clean copy with manual. They actually had a bunch of loose carts in here that had manuals with them, and they're still priced pretty good. This especially, 1410 for Assault Suit Vulcan with manual. That's a really good deal on that. Assault Suit Vulcan is becoming a more uncommon game these days, so I was happy to pick that up. We got Nazo Puyo, some Super Street Fighter 2, clean cart, 900 yen, and manual. So I'm taking that. I mean, $5 for that. Can you really argue with that? We got some more Street Fighter. We got some Dragon Quest, some Tetris. Got some more solid games in there. But what are we looking for? Mostly I'm looking for like action games, platformers, but I want stuff that's in good shape, not dirty, not dingy. Although I can make an exception in the case of Poppin' Twinbee for 720. Not too bad on the condition of the card, just some writing on it, but that's just a good deal on that game. And it's a good game overall. 270 on Super Butoden, 720 on some Bomberman. Not bad at all. Yu Yu Hakusho Final, but the cart's really dirty and grody. Otherwise, I would have picked it up at 720. Yu Yu Hakusho Final, pretty decent. Yu Yu Hakusho one-on-one fighter by Namco, and the original Yu Yu Hakusho here. Also a dirty cart, though. It's super cheap, but then I just don't want to send people like faded, grody carts, especially, you know, if I'm not going to open them up and like do open cart surgery on these things, I don't know what the condition is inside. The outside looks nice and clean. I feel like I can trust it. 480 on one of the Super Bombermans. Someone's name on it. And 270 for this Super Puyo. But wow, kind of a grody looking back there. But what else are we looking at here? And this I thought was okay. Really clean cart. 720 for Kirby Superstar. Look how clean that is. That's nice. So that's going home with Jim. That goes on the stack. Building a nice stack here. They call me Jimmy Stacks. I don't have any money, but I do have a bunch of video games. That counts for something. A little glass case here. We got Rockman 2. Then we got Choma Kaimura back there. Turtles, the arcade game. YY World. A couple of copies of Ninja Ryu Kenden 2, which is very cool. Live Alive, Final Fight 2, Mother 2, Twinbee 3. Even some N64 stuff back there. And a Sega Saturn sitting all by its lonesome with a power cord and what have you. This, you know, like they had some Switches, DS's, other things like that. This kind of cool Zelda GameCube controller. Thought it might be like a Wavebird or something. I wasn't going to look at really like much modern stuff today, just because that's not what I'm dealing with right now. But I spotted a game and I just had to take a look at it. It's the Melty Blood game on the Switch. 19,000 yen. I don't know what the hell is up with this game. If it was released in very limited quantities or something. But that's the most expensive Switch game I've come across thus far. I mean, it's Switch. It's current gen. We're bypassing all this PS4 and whatnot. We got some PS3. Not terribly interested. But if you've got some PS1, you know I'm interested in that. So what do we got? Enemy Zero on the Saturn. No idea. Virtua Fighter Remix and Virtua Cop for 270 yen. That's like, I don't know, $2 for a copy of Virtua Cop. So I set that aside. I'll be taking that home with me. And then we got some GameCube games here, which I don't get much request for GameCube. I think people who collect GameCube games, maybe they would prefer to just have like their own region, North American or whatever. Some Kinnikuman for 480. And there are not a ton of Japan exclusive GameCube games as well. So it seems like, I don't know, there's like less of an interest in those for people who like to collect Japanese games. Here, Kid Station. So I guess this is like a series of games made especially for like small children. I don't know. Came with special controllers. Chrono Trigger, 1100. Which I used to have back in the day. I think in the States it came as part of the Final Fantasy Anthology or something. And then, alright, some, I guess some board game of some sort. And we got some Shin Nihon Pro Resu for 270 yen, so I'll take that. Those 3D wrestling games are usually pretty fun. And for $2, it's like, okay. That could be like a nice little bonus sent to someone. We have one Dreamcast game, and then we got a bunch of PS1 stuff. Most of it pretty standard. 270 on this copy of Biohazard. That doesn't look too terribly bad, so I'm going to take that with me. $2 for a Biohazard, I'll take it. We got some Dragon Quest. We've got some, I don't know what the hell it is, but there you go. The Chocobo collection, though, that's pretty cool. A few games in there. It's 900 yen, and it's in really good shape. You get Chocobo Racer, Chocobo Stallion, and I think Dungeon as well. You get all three, so I set that aside. That's a pretty good deal. That's going on the stack. And we got some PS2 stuff here, including, what is this, Bonanza Bros? So some of the Sega Ages stuff, that's fine. Nightmare Before Christmas by Capcom, pretty cool. 480 yen. I'm just perusing. PS2 is another one I don't get a whole lot of requests for. 480 though, for this Hokuto no Ken Sega Ages 2500. That's pretty good on that. I'm not going to pass on that. Go on there. You get on that stack too. I'm not leaving you behind. Never leave a Fist of the North Star behind. We got some fighting games here. A handful of Kamen Rider fighters, which rhymes, so that's fun. And King of Fighters 11 for 1100 yen. That's okay on that. Dragon Ball Sparking Neo, 270 in, but it's not Meteor, so pass on that. And then this was awesome, 270 in for Melty Blood, Act Cadenza. So that's a huge get. That's a great fighting game at only 200 yen. That's the deal of the day. And then they had the other Melty Blood at 2,700. That's Actress again, but rather than, Temfit, I was happy with getting Act Cadenza for such a low price. So I took Act Cadenza, left Actress again, and that's all she wrote. And 3,800 finally on a copy of R-Type Final. And they had a few more things, but I was pretty happy with the stack I'd built up so far. Like I said, this was just the appetizer, so come back next time for the main course. Okay, goodbye, everybody.